In the last 3 years, we have seen unprecedented changes in society. These changes challenge every major paradigm that has shaped our lives, nations, cultures, and communities. It is during times like these that we turn inward for truth. I too began to question the meaning of my existence and the meaning of success. Often, through these quiet, contemplative reflections, we come to find our purpose, our giftings, and even, as some would say, our calling in life. I choose to use my gifts in the service of goodness for the collective. After spending nearly 3 decades in the world of direct marketing, I have witnessed a broad spectrum of changes in our industry. Having built a global organization that generated billions of dollars in sales, I have learned invaluable lessons in business and in life. I have been called to start a project that honors 2 words: love and contribution. I am building a global community that is focused on the well-being of everyone around us, physically, financially, and spiritually. With that said, get ready, for you're about to be a part of something meaningful, fun, and genuinely profound. It is time to get excited and rise to the calling of something far greater than what has been.
Hello and welcome. Adrianne Carbonell Ruiz here. I want to say good morning for those of you guys who are chiming in the morning, and good evening for the rest of us here. And I am just excited to have you guys on for our Empowerment Tuesday. And I have been given a topic that I'm actually very passionate about. And the reason I am is because I have been full-time in this profession for 15 years now. But you know what? When I first started, I had to really be trained. I had to really plug into the team. I needed to be taught the daily activities for success. And the reason that's so key for so many of us is because there are a lot of factors that aren't necessarily in our control in a business like this. But the things that we do have control over are our daily activities, how much we do and how much we can share and, really help create this highest, grandest, vision possible for our life and for our team and for our families. Because we truly become what we believe, it's important to believe in really great systems for success. And so I am going to be sharing with you guys tonight exactly what it was that helped me go from 0 to really creating a substantial income in network marketing. So I had very limited time as well. I was a single mom when I first started, and my goodness, I had like a half hour in the morning while I was driving to my jobs. I had a half-hour lunch break, and I had an hour that I carved out at night right after I put my kids to bed and before I had put myself to bed. So I understand the significance, in other words, of being able to follow a system that is going to take you to the promised land, whatever it is that you are working towards, which really, if we're talking about what you're working towards, you guys, that's your why, right? That's the thing that's going to drive you. It's the thing that's going to keep you going. It's the reason you said yes to this company in the first place. It's what is going to wake you up and say, hey, today is the day that I'm going to get to work. Today is the day I'm putting in time and activity to be able to, really move the needle, not just in my business, but in my life, right? Not just in your business, but in your life. So that is super exciting. Okay, so I want to share with you some things that worked for me. And we are going to dive into exactly what these daily activities for success are. So let's do a quick overview. So the things that we need to do every day. So we're not talking about monthly, we're not talking about quarterly, we're not talking about yearly. We're talking about building a big business daily. All right, daily. How many of you guys really want to create success here, right? Raise your hand, or you can raise your virtual hand, right? Or just know you're raising your hand innately at home, right? You want to create massive success for you and your family, whether that's being able to travel more, whether it's being able to earn additional income, whether it's being able to be philanthropic, right? So these are the activities that are going to get us there. So the first thing we need to do is set daily activity goals. Follow a daily success formula. We call that DSF. Some people might call that DMO, daily method of operations. We need to focus on income producing activities. We call that IPAs. We need to track our progress and keep it super simple. So let's dive in here. The first thing I want to share with you is this beautiful quote from John C. Maxwell. He says, "You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine." I am such a firm believer of that. I am such a firm believer of that. I know for me, when things happen that are really great in my business, is because I'm on track daily. I know when things could be better, it's because I'm off track daily, right? So how do we plan for this daily routine? Well, I like to do this the night before. So I have a notebook that sits next to my bed at night. I highly recommend you don't overthink this process. Some of us like to get super techie. We have apps, we have, spreadsheets, things like that. You can do what works for you, whatever floats your boat. But I am kind of old school in the fact that I love having that brain dump at night before I go to bed. So next to my nightstand, I keep a pen and a notebook. And I write down the 6 most important things that I need to do the next day, right? The 6 most important. Now that's just, sometimes it's more than 6, sometimes it's less, but I like to get out at least 6, personal and business. So maybe 3 personal, 3 business, whatever that looks like. And then the next day, I'm going to focus on things that move my business forward. And you're going to do the same. We're going to focus on things that move your business forward. So here are some, ideas on how to be smart about this. I am all about working smart, not hard. So when we're goal setting, and you guys can grab a pen and a piece of paper right now. This is Tuesday Empowerment Training, right? We are learning together. We're growing as a company together on this call. So grab a pen, a piece of paper, and write down some SMART goals, some things that need to be done daily, right? Make sure they're specific, they're strategic, they're significant for you, significant for your business, right? Make sure they're measurable, meaningful, motivational, something that you get excited about. There's going to be some things that we do that don't necessarily excite you, but you're going to do them. You're going to be motivated with with just the idea, honestly, of checking it off. I'm that girl. I'm the girl who, like, if I write something down and I get to cross it out, ooh, that's such a good feeling, right? That's my type A personality. Such a good feeling to just draw a big line through it. So we want to make sure that whatever we're writing down, that it's attainable, it's achievable, it's adjustable, right? It's relevant, it's realistic, it's going to get us results. It's timely, it's trackable or tractable, I guess. It's tangible. What do I get at the end of that activity? What happens? What's the reward, right? Tony Robbins always said there's 2 types of people in this world. There's the type of people that they run towards success. That's their big driving motivational factors. They're running towards that tangible thing. And there's other people that are running away from something negative, away from pressure, away from stress. Maybe you should identify maybe what type you are. Are you type 1 or are you type 2? Are you the person who's going to run towards that big, beautiful life? Or are you the person that's going, hey, I do not like where I'm at right now. I've got to hustle, and I've got to put it in high gear, right? Both will work, my friends. Both are equally important. So I want you to take a picture of this slide, and I'm going to spend some time on it. I want you to write this down because this is not going to change. Now, the reason I have this in here, these 6 things to do, okay, is because this is the daily success formula, right? These are things I know that you need to do to move your business. I mean, there are some feel-good things you could also write on your list the night before, like maybe working out in the morning, doing some motivational reading, doing some, cleaning up or some tidying up, things like that. I know sometimes it's hard for me to focus if my office is messy, right? So I like to focus on some of those things. So maybe you do some of those, but those aren't necessarily leading you towards success. Those are feel-good activities that everyone should do. Maybe you're incorporating all your 3 products in your day, right? Those are different as opposed to this. This is like the tangible, the how many. Like Adrianne, if you were to come to me and say, Adrianne, I want to build a really big business. What do I need to do? Like, what are the numbers I should be hitting? Like, what is it that is going to move the needle in my business? So this is different from feel-good activity that should also be written down, but this is something that you're going to do the how-to. This is how many, right? This is the methodology behind how we move the needle in our business. So we call this the daily success formula because it's going to lead you to success in your business for yourself and for your team. So number 1, we want to review and add 10 new names to your pipeline. 10 new names to your pipeline. So one of the things that I'm going to go through in a moment too, we're going to talk about list building, but for right now, know that your pipeline is your list building. You know, it's just like in anything else, like who am I talking to, right? Who am I connecting with? Who am I reaching out to? That is your pipeline. And we want to be adding new names to it daily, whether that's through connections on social media, whether we're meeting people in person, etc. We want to add names to our pipeline. And some of you guys, I'm going to be honest, some of you guys might be sitting back right now going, I don't even have a names list, right? I don't even have a names list. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to dive through that. But just know we want to be adding 10 new names to our pipeline daily. Then we want to invite 10 people to take a look daily, to put eyes on this incredible free opportunity that we have, right? That's really what we're doing. We want people to take a look. We want exposures. We want shares. We want 10 new people taking a look daily for us, okay? And then we want to do 2 full presentations per day. We want to share the story twice per day, 2 times per day. All right. And the reason I get excited about that 2 per day, I always have this saying 2 per day, 10 in play, which that's pretty much the last 2 steps, right? But 2 per day, you guys, when your head hits the pillow at night and you want to know without a shadow of a doubt that you're doing something to build your business, you've got to do number 3. It has to be done daily. 2 presentations per day, 2 shares, right? Your paycheck is directly related to how many times you've shared the 3 story in a day. So we're asking for a minimum of 2. And I know that that's going to make a huge difference. Okay, now what we're going to do is after we share, we're going to follow up immediately within 24 to 48 hours, or honestly, immediately means when we're done presenting, when we're at the end of that presentation, when it's the end of the Global Monday, when it's the end of Wellness Wednesday, we're going to follow up immediately, all right? And we're going to enroll 2 new and plug them into the team. Enroll 2 new and plug them into the team, the success systems that we have, right? And then we want to track our success. So we want to use a tracker form or even a notepad or something like that. We're going to track our activity daily. We're going to track our daily activity, all right? Now, this is like tried and true system. This is not going to change in this profession. In 15 years, this is the same information that was taught to me. And what happened is as soon as I did it, right? It works when you work it. So as soon as I started doing it and I was tracking my success and I was adding names to my pipeline and I was sending 10 text messages a day, right? I was doing 2 full presentations per day. I was flipping the chart either for myself or for somebody else twice a day. And I was following up immediately. Oh my goodness, I had so many new people coming in my organization. I was rank advancing in my team. My team was rank advancing. Why? Because I was repeating this daily. I was teaching it daily, and I had duplication. So it was duplicating forward within my organization. So it's so important that we follow a success system like the daily success formula. Now, I want to share something that somebody shared with me as well when I first got started. They said to me, Adrianne, how do we earn income? Right? And don't tell me about the compensation plan. Don't talk to me about all, the feel good things, right? Whatever. No, we want to talk about how we actually earn income, because there's really only 3 ways, my friends, 3 that you get paid. And the first one is through enrolling a new member or customer with SmartShip. Enrolling a new member or a customer with SmartShip. The second thing is your team enrolls a new member or customer with SmartShip, right? We make money that way too. Our team enrolls a new member with customer with SmartShip. And the third thing we're really doing is that this will duplicate. When we start enrolling and our team starts enrolling, it duplicates. And we earn off SmartShips that are generated through passive income that are paid to you weekly. So when SmartShips start rolling in weekly because of work we did the week prior, or 2 weeks prior, or 3 weeks prior, your SmartShips that are coming in from those initial orders, as it goes out, are creating a passive income that's paid to you weekly. And my friends, that is the piece I get most excited about, because that is what allows us to earn that beach money. That is what allows us to be able to, really develop and grow a massive organization globally. We are creating global distribution centers together. And in order to be able to do that, we want to get paid and get our people paid, right? Get paid and get your people paid ASAP. So that's why it's important that you know that even though we're talking about activities for success that lead us to this is the piece that really earns us income. This is the piece that we need to understand where we go, okay, it's not organizing my desk that makes me money. It makes me feel good, but it's not a money-making piece, right? So that leads us into what we call IPAs, which are called income producing activities. So this is the theory, right? We have the daily success formula as the method. That's how many. But this is the theory. This never changes. This is always going to be the cycle of your business where you're creating these IPAs, income producing activities, where number one, we are prospecting, we're recruiting, right? We're sharing. Number two, we're presenting, we're sharing. Number three, we're following up, right? The fortune is in the follow-up. And number four, we're onboarding into the company. And this, my friends, is the cycle of business. This is what doesn't change. This is the theory. So in order to have incredible focus, we want to focus on IPAs. We want to focus on ways that we earn income, right? So that goes back to our DSF, our daily success formula. And this is specifically using the language of IPAs, which is we reach out to at least 2 new prospects per day at a minimum. We follow up with the previous day's prospects. We book 2 presentations in each day, whether it's in person or online, and we share the full opportunity twice a day. And that's how we add new personal team members for ourselves or for others. So this is the prospect, present, follow up, onboard. Prospect, present, follow up, onboard, right? So our goal here is 2 presentations per day and 10 per week. In other words, if you are using the theory, if you're doing 2 presentations per day, now you can work more than 5 days per week, right? In this type of business, some of us have full-time jobs like I did when I first started before this retired me, right? And I was able to come home and do this full-time and pick my schedule. But until then, I was fitting this in the pockets of my life, right? So that's why we want to focus the daily activity on these IPAs, these income producing activities, and doing at least a minimum of 2 presentations a day, 5 days a week, right? 10 per week. That's what will happen. 2 per day, 10 in play. All right, so let's talk about your list. Let's talk about building your prospect pipeline. So if you already have a 100 names list, my friends, guess what? You're in for a treat. You are going to take the next 30 days to get through all of those 100 names. Now, I know that's easier said than done. I know it is, but I promise you one thing. If you can get a list of 100 names down and boom, collect a decision from those 100 people, my friends, you are going to be in business like you've never been in business before. So I always say, if you need to make a new names list or add to that pipeline, it's who do you know that loves business? Who do you not want to miss out on this opportunity, right? Who has a lot of energy? Who's the fun person to hang around? Who's the person that is like driven, right? Who do you know that's well connected? Who do you know that's open-minded, right? They're always open to new opportunity. They want to be in the know. Who do you know from your past? Like, who are people that, you're like, my goodness, who is that person, that I knew from high school that runs a big insurance business or a real estate business, or they're entrepreneurial minded, right? So we want to go there. We also want to cultivate our list. And the reason that's important, you guys, is that this is a living list. It's a living list. It's constantly being rotated, right? Some people are ready right after a presentation. Some people are ready after the 5th, 6th, 7th time we've talked to them. Some people get rolled to the bottom of the list. Some people we don't want. After we talk to them, we're like, that's not the person for my team. I don't think I want to work with them daily. So that's something I tell you too. If it's not somebody you would want to work with on a daily basis, their name does not go on the list. There are some people that this isn't for. It's for the person you don't want to be with daily. Okay. So only talk to people that you're willing to coach, that you're willing to train, that you're willing to lock arms with and build a big business. And when you're out there in the world and you're meeting people in your daily life, if somebody's standing in line at Starbucks and they're like super chatty and friendly, that's a person you're going to want to connect with. That's how you cultivate your list, right? If you guys are on social media and somebody's like, hey, I really liked your post, you're going to add that person to your list and be like, hey, thanks so much for liking my post. How are you? You're going to start connecting, right? And you're going to create relationships through open-ended conversations. So we go from leads to prospects to customers, right? And that's this pipeline, building this out. And I'm going to tell you a really quick story. Well, maybe you guys, during this list building aspect, maybe you guys write down a couple names on your notepad. Maybe you write down 10 names right now, people you're going to connect with tomorrow. So you get a jump start on your day while I share this story. Okay, so let me share this story with you. I was like brand new in my very first platform. Never done this type of business before in my entire life. And I spoke on something and got asked to attend a very private event with all of the top millionaires in that company. And I remember sitting at this round table with all these incredible individuals, these incredible leaders who, they were legends. They'd done the work. They'd earned the income. They got the badge. You know what I'm saying? And I was sitting there with no trophy yet, no badge yet. I was just, a fly on the wall listening. And I overheard at this table that all of these leaders said, what is the first thing that you teach when it comes to how to be successful in this business? And without a doubt, all 25 of those leaders said list building, having a 100s names list. And somebody said, does it have to be 100? And somebody said, yes, it has to be 100 because that's how the numbers work when we're connecting and presenting and following up, right? So it has to be 100. So we strive for that. We go through our cell phone, we write that stuff down, right? That's what they were talking about. And then they said, out of curiosity, those of you who are in this room are all, multiple seven-figure earners. You guys are multi-millionaires sitting in this room in network marketing. How many of you actually went through an entire 100s names list when you started your business? And guess what happened? Every single leader at that table raised their hand. Every single one. Not one of them had not gotten through personally 100 names. So when I tell you this is important, I tell you that it's important. It's that big of a deal that you have this strategically written out in front of you and that you're not prejudging. Our goal is to find out. It's not to prejudge if this is for them or not. It's to find out, right? So that's what's so key about having this 100 names list. Who wants to be a millionaire, right? No guarantees, but who wants to be a millionaire? I'll tell you what, I can guarantee that the person with a bigger list that actually does the DSF, the daily success formula with their list, is going to be a person who's going to reach that goal at some point. All right, so let's talk about prospecting. All right, prospecting. You know what I think of when I think of the word prospecting? I think of that book, 3 Feet from Gold, right? I think of that person, like a miner, like with this big axe, and he's like in a cave and he's, chipping it away, looking for, I don't know, gold, diamonds, something like that, right? Okay, so that is us when we're out there, right? We're out there and we are literally, we're digging, right? We're digging, we're sifting, and we're sorting. And so we want to build relationships in our daily life. We also want to build relationships online, and we want to be able to, really get a lead and a contact. That's what this is about. So when we talk about building our list, you guys, I always say the first thing you can do out in your daily life is smile. Yep, smile at people. Yep, I know. I want you to smile. I want you to say hello. I want you to give a genuine compliment, right? When you're in line at Target and a mom's, kids are screaming or something and, things like that, you want to be like, oh my gosh, I just want you to know you're doing such a great job. Like, say the genuine thing. You see a woman who's like, so put together. She's got all of her makeup on, like she's made an effort to be ready that day. My goodness, you look so professional today. I love the way that you do your makeup. Your skin is glowing, or whatever it is, right? Sharp dressed guy, whatever that looks like. You want to give a genuine compliment, because what that does is it breaks the ice, and wherever you're at, you can start building rapport. So you can be like, do you live around here? Do you come here a lot? Where are you from? What do you do? Right? Develop and create genuine conversation. Keep the conversation going. And then, you guys, we want to build relationships when we're online. The best way to build relationships is to not spam people. How many of you guys have ever received an inbox message that is like so just cookie cutter? It's like, right? And you know that it's like not that person. Please don't be that guy or girl. Let's be genuine. Let's lead with a genuine comment, right? Let's like for like, comment for comment. Let's build rapport there too. Let's take a genuine interest in somebody's post or their story, or their text or whatever their message was. If it was a private message to you, take a genuine interest in people, right? And send private messages, right? So when you add them and you're introducing yourself, use voice message too. I can't tell you how important it is. I love using voice message because there's no lost in translation. They can feel my passion to want to get to know them. They can feel my enthusiasm and my gratitude for them liking or commenting on my posts, right? So we really are creating a genuine connection. And there'll be a moment as you guys are conversing where you're going to see a need, fill a need. You're going to hear something that they share, like, oh, I'm really struggling with energy or sleep, or, I'm really struggling because my significant other lost their job, or I lost my job, or, things like that, right? Something's going to happen. Something's going to change, right? In the conversation, as you're getting to know somebody and you're asking open-ended questions. And so once you have that genuine connection, you can ask the prospect if they're open to information. on what you're doing, right? If you're in real life, if you're standing in that Starbucks line, you do not have that lead until you've already like friended them on social and been accepted, or you have a name and a phone number, or potentially an email or a business card or a digital e-card, right? Something like that where you are actually getting that. I know one of our leaders, Nicole, she does a really good training on that the other day where she was talking about meeting people where they're at, and wherever you're at, just saying, yeah, I'd love to connect. I have something that might be for you. You know, here's my contact, what's yours? Just making it so just roll off the cuff, you guys. Don't be a weirdo. Just like go for it. All right. And I promise it'll work out. So let's talk about some ice-breaking lines. Let's talk about some examples of prospecting. Let's talk about ways that we can ask somebody to take a look, or invite them to take a look, or let them know that we have something different, right? So when we come in here, we might say something like, so great catching up with you, Barb. You know, I started something new and you came to my mind. If I made it easy for you, would you be open to taking a look at some information? And the reason I say if I made it easy for you, I like to use an if I would you in most cases, because it's tick for tack, right? So if I made this easy for you, would you be open to taking a look? In other words, this isn't going to be hard. It's not going to be hard, Barb. I just want you to take a look. Okay. So that's one. Another one I like to use is, hi, Sarah, I'm reaching out to you for a reason. You've been on my mind. I just launched a new venture and I would love to share some information with you. If I sent you a link, would you be open to listening in on a quick Zoom and taking a look at what I'm doing now? ? I don't want you to miss out on what I'm doing, right? So the reason I reiterate that is because I want to create a little bit of FOMO, a little bit of fear of missing out, a little bit of sense of urgency, a reason to get back. I don't want you to miss out. Oh my gosh, where's Adrianne coming from this? I don't want to miss out on something, right? You know, she hasn't reached out to me in a long time. She's reaching out to me for a reason. Now I want to, yeah, I don't want to miss out. So what is this? Yeah, send me a quick Zoom link. I'd love to jump on, right? Okay. Or hi, this one's kind of fun. If you haven't talked to somebody in a while, this is a good one. I know Corey Cassidy uses this one a lot too. Hi, forgive my random text, LOL. I just started something new and I am so excited about it. And you came to my mind. I so admire your success. Would you be open to taking a look at some information and at least giving me your opinion? It would mean a lot to me. Right? So you guys, I love that too. So if you didn't take a picture of this slide already yet, oh my goodness, right? You're going to want to take a picture, write this down, keep it in your notes on your phone so you can send it in a quick text when you're sending out your 10 invites per day, right? Or when we're like gearing up for a Zoom call, right? Or you book something private. So now we book the appointment to share. And the reason I say that, as soon as they say yes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. When are you available? All of a sudden it becomes about appointment setting. Right? You're going to be a great appointment setter. You're not going to dive in if they come back and they say, well, what is it? No. Don't put the cart before the horse, right? We don't let people control that. We're in control. We're the boss. So we go, look, it's going to be so much easier for me to get you on this Zoom. It's going to be, fun and exciting. When would you have a quick 30 to 45 minutes to jump on a quick Zoom? You're going to book the appointment. You're going to become a glorified appointment setter. Okay. And I promise if you do that, if you put the one-liner out there, put the prospecting out there, and you get them booked, it's going to be fantastic. Okay, so now we're going to talk about tools for presenting. Now we want to keep it simple. We want to use the system to work smarter, not harder. I'm all about the cheat sheet. I am all about the quick, okay, the quick guide. So how can I get somebody in front of information? How can I share much more quickly, much sooner, right? Through in-person events, Zoom opportunities. We have our Spark Global events Monday through Thursday, right? We have showcase events, whether it's in person or online. I know I said in-person events, but showcase events, right? They can also be in person or online. And it doesn't always have to be your event. You can plug into somebody else's event, right? So that's the exciting part. And so you don't need to be an expert. This is the thing that really, I'm going to be honest with you, when I first started, the one thing that kind of messed me up a little bit and held me back from building much bigger, much sooner, is that I thought I had to be an expert. I thought I needed to present and be the most amazing presenter. I thought I needed to know everything about the products. I thought that I needed to know it all. Well, guess what, my friends? That's not how this works. All right, the best copycat wins in this business. The more you can, the quicker you can get somebody to take a look, the sooner you're getting through that DSF process, the sooner you're getting through your IPAs on a daily basis. So you don't want to be an expert. You want to let the tools do the work for you. You want to be an expert at letting the tools do the work for you. That is the thing you should be striving for. All right. So let's talk about this. When we go into this system, you guys, yes, we have Global Monday. We just had yesterday. I mean, it was a great event, right? We have Empowerment Tuesday. We have Wellness Wednesday. We have Spark Asia Thursday. Let other leaders work for you. Be a great appointment setter, right? You want to work with your sponsor, your upline. You can book out private appointments. Certainly, we do something in our team where we call it Book Your Perfect 7, which means you're going to do 7 practice presentations if you're brand new with your upline or with your sponsor, one-on-one. You're going to invite specific people to come and take a look, and you're going to learn while you earn. All right, learn while you earn. And then, or right, you could send a pre-recorded Zoom that you think will fit their interests. Now, I oftentimes like doing that if I'm in a pinch, man, and my day has gotten away from me, and I'm like, I still need 2 presentations. Like, I am not going to be the person who puts my head on my pillow at night and says, I didn't do the do, right? Because I know that's how, like, ultimately that's a slippery slope. So I want to do the do. I want to lay down at night in peace, knowing that I did 2 presentations that day. So sometimes, man, if I'm in a pinch, I'll go grab a pre-recorded, Global Monday, and I'll send that out to 2 people. I'll invite them and say, hey, if I sent you a link to a quick Zoom, would you take a look for me? I really want you to put some eyes on this for me. And I'll send a pre-recorded one. You can also use other tools, the links and the company one-page share sheet in your app or your back office under tools. But oftentimes, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, I use those more for follow-up. Now, if I'm at a coffee shop and I've invited somebody to come take a look and I don't have any technology with me, I might use like a printed out one-page share sheet that I keep in a binder, and I take that with me to that appointment, and that's going to guide my words. It's going to guide my presentation, right? So that's another thing you could do. So I'm just giving you quick tips for presenting, because that is the name of the game for us. How many times have you shared the 3 story in your day? How many times? How many times? So let's talk about follow-up. All right, let's talk about follow-up. So follow-up really starts during the presentation process. Yeah, it kind of does. Like if you've invited somebody onto a Spark Global Monday, you're going to be like texting them going, hey, are you on? Yes? Oh my goodness. Okay, this is going to be a really good one. I'm excited for you to hear from XYZ leader. Okay, awesome. Make sure you stay tuned for the testimonials at the end, right? And then as soon as that's done, you're going to come in and you're going to start asking open-ended questions. We're going to dive into that, what those open-ended questions are. Expect some objections. Expect some people saying, oh, I don't know if I have the time. I don't know if I have the money. I don't know if these products are for me. I need to know more about the products. I need to ask my husband or my significant other, right? Things like that, right? They're going to have some things they might say as we go to follow up, but we're just going to keep following up. We want to make sure we keep piquing their interest and that we track this process as well. So let's talk about simple follow-up tips. Now, the fortune is in the follow-up. Time is money, my friends. Okay, the fortune is in the follow-up. So one thing that used to get away from me was follow-up. And I know we can't be perfect at everything, right? We sometimes struggle. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people sometimes struggle with this follow-up piece because it's scary. They go, oh my goodness, okay, they saw that thing. Now what? Now what do I do? I want them to get started, but how do I make that happen, right? They're going to have some questions. So we want to follow up within an appropriate amount of time, because if you follow up within immediately, you know that's fresh. They just got off a Zoom. If you follow up within 24 to 48 hours, there's still probably, it's a little bit fresh, right? But if you wait 72, you're going over by a week and you haven't followed up with that person, you guys, our friends out there in the world are so busy. They're busy like we're busy, right? So they forget what they've seen. They forget about the products. They forget about the opportunity. So we have to be diligent about following up maximum within 24 to 48 hours. And I put this in here, until they enroll or die. And I know that's kind of harsh, but it's true. It's true. Nobody leaves my list. Even when they say no to me, I know what they're really saying is KNOW. I don't know enough to say no to you yet. I don't know enough yet, right? So that's why I'm saying no to you. Or it's a timing issue, right? Timing is everything. So that's why we've got to make sure we're following up. So follow up with a mentor, right? Follow up with a 3-way chat, whether it's through a text message or an online messenger or a phone call right away. Get on the phone with them ASAP. I always attempt to call right after they've seen a Zoom. Or you can Zoom, get back on a Zoom with them to help overcome objections and answer questions. So you guys, we always want them to be either a customer. We can also ask for referrals if they're not interested right away, but we follow up until We follow up until. So your list is alive, it's always growing. And this is something that you're going to do on the daily. And it's important. It's that important that you make sure that you do not leave this out. Your business cannot move without this piece. You don't make money without following up, right? So don't be that guy or girl who, has a big list of names that you're working on and you've been sending tools, but you're not tracking it. So you forget to follow up with Bobby. And the next thing you know, or Bobby enrolls with somebody else. Maybe he's heard it from somebody else, right? You don't want to miss out. That happened to me one time. I forgot to follow up with somebody and then went to an event and saw my friend at that event, was like, wait a minute, why are you on that team and not on my team? And they're like, well, you never followed up with me. And I was like, oh, I thought I did, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing things that that allow us to get a result quickly, and that means follow up quickly. All right, so let's talk about these questions that we ask. Okay, so these are some of my favorite questions. So I like to start with, what was your favorite part? Right? And the reason I start diving into that, what intrigued you the most? What was your favorite part? These open-ended questions is because, and I never say, what did you think? And the reason I never ask that question is because it's so broad and so wide. They're probably thinking a million different things. They're like thinking about, they're thinking about, the dishes that need to be done. They're thinking about the laundry. They're thinking about the next business call. They're thinking about, don't ask them what they're thinking. That's the wrong question to ask, my friends. If there was a wrong question, it would be that one. Let's stick to some of these, okay? What was your favorite part? What intrigued you the most? Can you see the value of using these products daily? Can you see the value of having an additional income stream, right? Isn't it reassuring to know that you're working with a team, that you can be in business for yourself, but not by yourself, right? What do you see 3 doing for you in your life? What do you see 3 doing for you in your life, right? What questions do you have for me? Some people might just come out and say, hey, what questions do you have for me, right? You want to help overcome objections with your upline or your sponsor. So I think it's important to have your upline or your sponsor on with you if you're brand new and doing this, because I only knew what I knew, and I did not know much when I first started. So anytime I did a follow-up, I always brought that third-party credibility in there, that person that can help me answer questions right away. And so that is one thing. You may text your business partner or your upline sponsor and say, hey, I have 3 people on the Zoom call tonight. Is it okay if we spend some time following up? I'm going to call one right after and then wait 30 minutes and call the other one, right? So just put a method to your madness. And then we're going to enroll them. So here's the thing. Once you're done getting over those objections, once you're done getting through that process, write this baby down, because I love this question. I love this question. It works almost 99% of the time. I say this. Do you feel that you have enough information to get started today? So once I've answered their questions, I go, do you feel that you have enough information to get started today? And they usually will go, yes. If they say no, it's because something else in that objection process still hasn't been covered, right? But usually if I ask this question and I've gone through those objections, they'll say, yes, I'm ready. And then I go immediately into taking the order. So the methodology around enrolling people is saying, do you feel that you have enough information to get started today? Yes. Okay. What's your credit card? What's your credit card? What's your address? Where do you want these products shipped, right? What's your date of birth? What's your email? Which pack do you want? Right? And I go through that with them. The reason I don't waste a lot of time, as soon as they say, yes, I'm ready to get started, I want to gather that personal information first to open their account, because then there's less chance of them sliding back into additional questions that they need to overcome. So this is just something that I put to practice. It's something that my team does as well. And it works. It works. So don't be afraid to take the money, in other words. So once they say they have enough information to get started, you go, awesome. Shipping address, credit card information, date of birth, email, which pack, why, and they may still have additional pack questions. I sometimes go through those and walk through that next step of the enrollment process around packs and things like that and what they're getting after I have their order, after I have the information to put into the system. It's very rare that I actually send somebody a link to my site just to order straight from my site. If they were to say to me, I want to be a customer, then usually I'll say, great, do you want me to help you through that process, or do you want to place that order off my website? I give that option to them, because typically I'm kind of a control freak, but I want to be able to control where that person is headed in my organization. Now, you can toggle off in your back office the placement on that, but I'd rather just have the app have the information, the enrollment form filled out right in front of me, and then I'll make sure that I'm doing that process myself. So I go straight into that. And then once I do that, I give them assurances. I'd be like, hey, Barb, oh my goodness, you're officially in. Welcome. I'm going to send you an email with a welcome letter. The company is going to send you a welcome email. I'm giving assurances. Once you receive that and you get your box, message me back. We're going to go through your pack and we're going to do an onboarding call with you and help you get set up, right? So that's that onboarding piece after. And I'm not going to dive dive into onboarding tonight, but just know that that is part of our IPAs. So that's that giving assurances, is letting them know what the next step is after you've taken their information and you've got their order. And then a lot of times I'll schedule that onboarding with a sponsor, with an upline, with the team. I want to introduce them and get them into the schedule, get them into the calendar as soon as possible, so they know like our daily method of operations. They know what they're plugging into, and they're moving the needle in their business. They're earning while they're learning. So that's that piece. Okay, so let's talk about tips for tracking. And tracking your success is so important. And this is something that, oh my goodness, when I'm on, I'm on. When I'm off, it is like, woo, I have a hamster on a hamster wheel. I am trying to figure out like, hey, where was that piece of paper? Where was that name? Where was I supposed to do? You don't want to be that guy or girl, right? You want to be responsible and accountable for what you're doing on a daily basis. So we want to mastermind with our team. We want to have maybe an accountability partner. Maybe you jump on board. You came on board with this company with a friend, and you guys hold each other accountable on a daily basis, right? To your DSF, your daily success formula. How many, right? You want to write it down, whether you're using a tracking sheet or a notebook. And you want to set a weekly threshold, right? That those IPAs, I kind of go back to it, right? 2 reach outs a day, 2 follow-ups a day, 2 op shares a day, etc. And you want to stay committed, because on average, it takes 5 to 7 touches, 5 to 7 follow-ups with that one person. They've seen that bit of information once. During those 5 to 7 touches, you guys, on my tracking sheet, I'm putting, what else have I sent them? Did I send them an extra Dr. Dan video to help answer questions? Did I invite them to the next, global op Zoom, right? What am I doing to continue that journey until they enroll? And I love this quote by Sammy Davis Jr., where he says that you always have 2 choices: your commitment versus your fear, your commitment versus your fear, right? That's by Sammy Davis Jr. And so when we track things, you guys might be looking at an empty tracking sheet if you're just getting started, and get excited. Instead of getting in fear of what you aren't going to do or what's going to happen, get excited. Just get excited to fill out that tracker form and get going on your names list. So here's an example of a tracker form that we like to use. Okay, here's an example, and we can get this out there to you guys, but here's just an example of a prospect tracking sheet that we like to use. So I always say, if you're going to track something, you need to have contact information, the actions taken, right? Like their exposure date, first, second, third follow-up, right? Okay, you need to have notes in there. Like, what did Sheila say to me, right? Did she say, I'm busy, I'm going out of town, reach back out to me when I have 3 kids, my husband does this, da, da, da. Like, take some notes, okay, when you go back to this. And then the results, right? Did they get on board? Did they come on as a customer? Are they a brand ambassador? Did they say no for now, right? And then at the end of the day, or even end of the week, you guys can go through these totals yourself, because everything rises and falls on the numbers in these total sections. How many prospects did you have? How many new customers do you have? How many new brand ambassadors do you have? How many not no's do you have? There's a really great book called Go for No that teaches you how to just take no's like a champ, because for every no, you're closer to a yes, my friends. It's like there's 4 aces in a card deck, right? You're not going to hit an ace every single time. You might hit some good cards, but you're not going to hit an ace every single time. So we welcome the not nows, because it's a no for now. All right. So I always say this: how do you know until you show? How do you know until you show? Like, you want to show and tell yourself that you're doing this on the daily. If you have family members and people that are counting on your success in this business, like maybe you've got a little bit of pressure, your back's against the wall, you want to be able to show them something, show them your tracking sheet, show them what you're doing on the daily. It's very important that they see that you're moving the needle in your business. I know that's the way that it was for me when I first got started. I would show my children, like, hey, this is why mommy's so busy in these hours, right? This is why I'm in my office. I'm working hard for that Disney trip, or I'm working hard for that, bigger Christmas, things like that, right? So how do you know until you show? And another thing that I always say to my team, sometimes I have teammates come to me and say, this isn't working. I'm not making enough money, or I haven't, I'm not seeing the results. I'm not feeling like, I'm getting the results that I initially was promised or what I was looking for. And you know what I tell them? I say, show me your numbers. Show me your tracking sheet. Show me the work that you've been doing. Show me your consistency. Because I promise you, if I go down and I see those totals at the bottom, that's what I'm looking for, my friends. I'm looking for the action you put in and the result it created. So little action creates little results. Big action creates big results. Massive all-out action you get massive results. You start rank advancing, you start earning more money, your team starts rank advancing, your team starts earning more money, and it's all predicated on these numbers in these boxes at the end of the day. So we want to talk about KISS, and we're going to give you a big fat kiss right now, okay? So KISS, follow your daily plan. Focus on income producing activities, IPAs, right? Prospect, present, follow up, onboard, repeat the process. Don't overcomplicate this, you guys. I know we went through a lot of details tonight. This is recorded. You can watch it again. But you're going to track your daily, weekly progress, and you're going to keep it super simple. Just keep it super simple in your head, in your tracking sheet, you know, in your daily activities, what you're committed to doing. Keep it super simple. Work within your time frames. Be with your family when you're not in those time frames. Make appropriate commitments. Keep it simple. All right, and I'm going to leave you with this. I love this slide. It says the secret of your future is hidden in your daily routine. So thank you guys so much for being on. I hope that you found a lot of value in tonight's presentation, where we were sharing the daily success activities, or daily activities for success. And I am just so grateful you guys hopped on, and I hope you go out. I hope you think much bigger now. I hope you dream much bigger. I hope you build much bigger, much sooner following these activities. All right, good night, everybody. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.